Hey there, it's Wendy from Worldwide Speak. Welcome. Today, let's learn about the definition paragraph. It's a type of paragraph we have in writing. This video is made for English language learners, but of course, all learners are welcome, and this most likely targets the beginning writer. This video is going to go over the purpose of a definition paragraph, the structure of a definition paragraph, and then it will give you a basic example of what a definition paragraph looks like. So are you ready? Let's get started. So what is a definition? A definition is something that gives meaning, the meaning of something. So for example, let's say we needed a definition for the word calculator, right? Well, if we looked at a dictionary and we looked it up, it would look something like this. Something used for doing mathematical calculations, in particular a small electronic device with a keyboard and a visual display. As you can see there in parentheses, I noted which dictionary I used. Now that we know what a definition is, well, what is a definition paragraph? Why do we have one of these? The purpose of a definition paragraph, the reason why we write it, is to explain a word and or a term or a concept that may be unfamiliar or unknown to the reader. Okay, so we know that the purpose of our definition paragraph is to explain something that the reader is possibly unfamiliar with or that they don't know. So I wanted to list some of the reasons why we write one of these. So one reason is that when you're writing your paper, you would use this maybe because you think the reader doesn't know this term because it could be from a different language and you need to explain it to them. Or that this term has a subjective meaning, which means that people can have somewhat different definitions for the same term. And you need to make sure that you let your reader know which definition you're going to focus on in your paper. You can also have a word or a term that has a different definition than experts or a dictionary. And then lastly, there could be a disagreement about this definition by experts, and you're going to need to show which one that you're going to use. Now I'd like to show you the basic structure of a definition paragraph. So this is, again, the basic structure. You can have more supporting sentences and more details, and sometimes people don't even have a concluding sentence. But when you start out, I'd really like you to understand just the basic structure of what you need to write. So the basic structure is that, as you can see here in the box, we have a topic sentence, which tells the reader what the paragraph is about, supporting sentence, and then details about the supporting sentence, another supporting sentence, details, another supporting sentence, details, and then a concluding sentence. Now, I'm going to go over each of these pieces and let you know what that looks like. Let's start with the topic sentence. Well, for a definition paragraph, there are two common ways to write this. So the first way is that you just give a definition from the dictionary. You make sure that when you write your topic sentence and you're giving a definition from a dictionary, there are two things. First, you need to cite which dictionary you used, and like here, the Oxford Dictionary of English, and then you need to put that definition in quotation marks to show that it's not your words, that it's actually the words coming directly from the dictionary. The other way is to write your own definition, and that needs to include the category the word belongs to and the identifier that makes the word unique in that specific category. Okay, that's kind of an elusive definition. So I want to break this down for you specifically. Okay, so what do we mean by category and identifier? Well, let's take this topic sentence as an example. Downtime is the inactive time between periods of work. Well, downtime is the word we're going to give a definition for. And then what category does that fall into? Well, the category is time, right? It's a kind of time, and it's inactive time. You're not doing anything. And then what's the identifier? What is the thing that makes this time, this specific time, unique? So it's between periods of work. That's your identifier. So you have the word, you have what category it fits into, and then you have what makes it unique or what's its trait, and then this gives you a really nice, strong topic sentence for a definition paragraph. Let's take a look at another one just to make sure we understand. So let's say you have this sentence. A precocious child is a person who shows maturity beyond their years. Well, we're going to define precocious child. What category does precocious child fit into? Well, it's a person, right? That's the category. And then what makes this category unique? What's so special about this? Why is it different than something else? Well, it's a person who shows maturity beyond their years. That's the identifier. So for the topic sentence, you can use a definition from the dictionary. Just make sure that you cite the dictionary and you use quotations, or you can write your own and include the category it's in and the identifier. Okay, moving on to the supporting sentences. There are many ways that we can define a term so that it becomes more clear to the reader. And typically when we're writing this type of paragraph, we use one or more of the following ways to do this. So first, we identify the things that make the term easy to recognize. For example, a precocious child is more advanced or more mature than other children her own age. So we let the reader know what this looks like with our words. Then we can also define the term by comparing it to something that is similar. For example, a precocious child is often referred to as gifted. We can also show a negative explanation, what the idea or term or word is not. So it would look something like this. A child who is not precocious will show development right on target with his peers. And lastly, we can give specific explanation or examples. And we use here, for example, some children use extremely advanced vocabulary when they speak. They are touted as precocious if this occurs at a very young age. Okay, let's talk about the details. This is where you paint the picture with words. The details are super important in your definition paragraph, and all of your writing details are important. So let's use one of the supporting sentences from the previous slide. I chose the one that identifies the thing that makes the term easy to recognize. We used a child who is precocious is more advanced or more mature than other children her own age. Now, how could we add details to really show the reader what we mean by this? How can we give a super specific example with details, right? How are we going to do this? It could look something like this. For example, this can be seen when some of these children start reading when they are still very young. They actually teach themselves how to read at 2 or 3 years old. Well, My supporting sentence tells me that they're advanced or they're, more mature than their peers. But then the details give me a super specific example of what that looks like. And it's that some of these precocious children actually teach themselves how to read at the age of 2 or 3. Pretty incredible. So you've got that picture in your mind if you're reading that. And that's what you want to deliver to your reader in your paper. Okay, and lastly, we have the concluding sentence. Well, this just reminds the reader of the topic sentence and then keeps them thinking about your paragraph. So let's say our topic sentence had been a definition from a dictionary, and it was, according to Merriam-Webster's online dictionary, the term precocious means exhibiting mature qualities at an unusually early age, right? So we have, the children teaching themselves how to read. Well, we could write a concluding sentence that says kind of the same thing, but also keeps the reader thinking. Might look something like this. In the end, it is important to remember that precocious children still need love and guidance like other children, even though they have some amazing abilities. So we're talking about the same thing, but we've just said it a little bit differently, and then we've added an extra thought to keep the reader thinking. Okay, lastly, as promised in the beginning of this video, I said I would give you an example of a definition paragraph. Here it is. Feel free right now to pause the video. You can read the paragraph, and when you're finished, just press play and we'll pick right back up. Okay, great. Thank you so much for taking the time to read the paragraph. Well, what if we took a look at the paragraph like this? So here what I've done is I've aligned each sentence with the color it coordinates with, right? So the topic sentence is blue. I highlighted the first sentence in blue. A supporting detail is in green and the details in orange. And then the concluding sentence in red. I thought this way would be a nice visual way to remember the structure of the definition paragraph. Again, feel free to pause the video if you need some extra time to read through it or to examine where all the different pieces fall into place in this paragraph. As always, we truly appreciate you being here and learning with us. And if you have not subscribed to our channel, please do so. And if you have subscribed, please remember to turn on your notifications so you know when our latest videos come out. If you would like even more resources for learning English, you can visit our website at worldwidespeak.com. Until next time, take care.